but quite rather than offer a view of following one week's major occasion, issues near bipolar Korea took a backseat for the year's Shangri-La Dialogue, Asia's primarily safety message board. While the imminent meet among Trump card and polar Korean lead Kim Jong-un did occur, conversations frequently centered less than on the specifics of the meet's potential order of business and more than on wherever the leaders might select to remain. Would Trump card or Kim be stay in the identical hotels audience were stay in? Would they be consuming of the identical lounge breakfasts? Amongst Singapore's several main hotels, the chapel is wide according to rumors to include be the leader to building CEO Donald Trump card for his remain following 1 week. The spreading, luxury refuge is arranged on Sentosa Isle in Singapore's southward. In isolation, picturesque and in lot of area, the inn appears so positioned to army a planet lead or a historical summit conference. Inn personnel dodged questions concerning the summit conference while requested on Saturday. But the inn's hall was imbued in noticeably muscular men talk accented British. At one spot a talk could be overheard as to wherever an X-ray car might be located. Meltdown, which meltdown? How the planned Trump card Kim summit conference did not absorb the oxygen supply out of the safety message board, that wrapped up Saturday, may appear remarkable examining the kind of mob it attracts. Yet, for lot of the by the government officials and expert at the message board, polar Korea is thing of a interim headache, while compared to the lot greater question of China and the destruction to which is named as the rules-based procedure. The period that is utilized as brief brush for the principles and norms how include profiled and determine the world framework with the end of Planet War II, could be heard often through the summit conference. In Asia, the largest material sample of the risk to the rules-based procedure is in the southward China Ocean, a flesh of water supply disputed by a fistful of regions how China claims as its their own. Beijing has fastened and militarized synthetic islands in the area, a tactics how analysts and China's adversaries' complaint is intended to roller its claims above the water nearby the islands and frighten neighbors. In spite China's claims to the opposite, the accommodation of these gun system is connected immediately to war use for the need of bullying and compulsion, told Mattis. On Saturday, the France Gunman Forces Secretary, Florence Parly, emerging to seize the sentiment of the summit conference, while she proclaimed how fair since the floodlights are on Panmunjom order now doesn't indicate how the southward China Sea question will go off, referring the world countryside in the cardiac of the demilitarized area, among polar and southward Korea. For her address, Parly announced plans to sailing a France Marine Problem Team, along in UK helicopter and sea vessels, in specific areas of the southward China Ocean. The purpose she told was to provide how liberty of navigate was upheld in the water. At several spot a harsh vote intrudes in the transponder and tells us to sailing off of presumably regional water, told Parly, who didn't link China by behalf. Yet our captain later quietly replies how he will sailing hereinafter, since these, by World Act, are really world water. Greater issues at act for lot of the Southwest Asiatic and Southward Asiatic nations how visited the Singapore message board, complementary and outdoor accessing to the waterway is an economical need. China thus presents a more than press question to lot of them, he's a growing force how sits on lot of their national borders, menacing to overturn the statute quo. Address the question of the southward China Sea on Saturday, Vietnam's Secretary of Domestic Defense, General Ngo Xuyen Lij, told how, by no occasion, one could not do up excuses to militarize by deployment arms and war equipment on contested areas or areas owned to else nation. Such an act, offered Ngo, is a severe violation to the independence of some countries, or, violates world laws. Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana supported the Gen's comments Saturday, expressive reporters how China's war construct up may be utilized to frighten other in the region. In Tokyo, that is in band of polar Korea's brief and middle band ballistics rocket technology, China's growth remnant a greater geopolitic issue mark rather than the risk of Pyongyang, told Jonathan Berkshire milling machine operator, an analysis who specializes in Japan, overseas politics at the Japan Institution of World Sphere, JIIA. Time tensions on the Korean Peninsula stay a actual and essential safety problem. These tensions as well ensure a easy separating side masking chief on confronting among China and the U.S. Association Webb, told milling machine operator. He told how one day Polar Korea is remote of the position, strategy contest in China would go frontline and center.